Money, it's the root of all evil, but also the key to all good. Whether you're rolling in dough or living paycheck to paycheck, your relationship with money is one of the most important aspects of your life. But are you doing it right? With that said, here are the top 7 money mistakes you need to avoid at all costs. Number 1, not budgeting. This is a big one. Only 40% of Americans actually create a budget for themselves. According to recent studies, 61% of people who don't budget regularly end up spending more than they earn. It's a lot of money being wasted. So what does the other 60% do? Well, they live paycheck to paycheck. They make just enough to cover their monthly expenses, and they have very little left over for savings or investments. On the other hand, people who budget are able to track their income and expenses. Identify areas where they can cut back and save more money. So if you're not budgeting yet, it's time to start. There are plenty of free resources available online and in many communities. Number 2, no emergency savings. An emergency fund is a safety net for when life throws you a curveball. According to a recent study, 38% of Americans couldn't afford an unexpected $400 expense. Without an emergency fund, you're much more likely to turn to credit cards or loans to cover the cost, which can quickly spiral out of control. Experts recommend having 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses saved up in an emergency fund. While this may seem like a lot, it's not as much as you think. Calculate your monthly expenses and multiply that by 3 or 6. If you have an emergency fund, it will give you peace of mind knowing that you can handle whatever life throws your way. Number 3, ignoring debt. It's easy to ignore debt, especially if you're not in a good place financially. However, ignoring your debt won't make it go away. In fact, it'll probably just make things worse. When you ignore your debt, it's likely to spiral out of control. You'll be charged interest and fees, and before you know it, you'll owe more money than you can afford to pay back. This can have a negative impact on your credit score and make it difficult to get approved for loans or even rent an apartment. The best way to deal with debt is to face it head-on. Create a budget, track your expenses, and make a plan to pay off your debt as quickly as possible. There are also resources available to help you, such as credit counseling agencies and debt consolidation companies. Number 4, not investing. According to a recent study, 52% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their bank account. When you don't invest your money, you're essentially letting inflation eat away at its value. This means that your money will gradually lose its purchasing power over time. For example, if you have $1,000 today in 10 years, that $1,000 will only be able to buy you $900 worth of goods and services. That's why it's important to start investing as soon as you can. Even if you can only afford to invest a small amount each month, it will add up over time. And when you invest, you want to make sure you're doing it the right way. Educate yourself about the different types of investments and work with a financial advisor to develop a plan that meets your needs. Number 5, living beyond your means. It's easy to get caught up in the rat race and feel like you need to keep up with the Joneses. However, living beyond your means is a surefire way to financial ruin. When you spend more money than you earn, you're constantly living in debt. This can lead to a lot of stress and anxiety, and it also prevents you from saving for the future. If you want to achieve financial freedom, then you need to live within your means. This doesn't mean that you have to be frugal and never treat yourself, but it does mean being mindful of your spending habits and making sure that you not spending more than you can afford. Number 6, think about this. Delaying gratification can really change the game for you. It's all about holding off on those instant rewards for something way better down the line, like when you're tempted to splurge on that shiny new gadget. But instead, you save that cash for a bigger goal, like a vacation or a new car. Trust me, the feeling of reaching that goal is absolutely worth it. Number 7, no plan. If you want to achieve your financial goals, then you need to have a plan. This doesn't mean that you need to become a financial expert overnight, but you should at least have a basic understanding of where you are financially and where you want to be. Once you have a clear picture of your financial situation, you can develop a plan to reach your goals. This could include setting up a budget, tracking your expenses, and making a plan to save or invest more money. A financial advisor can help you develop a comprehensive plan that takes into account your unique circumstances. It can be tough to admit that you're making any of these money mistakes. After all, we all like to think that we're doing a good job with our finances. But the reality is that everyone makes mistakes sometimes, The important thing is to learn from them and make changes where necessary. By avoiding these common money mistakes, you can set yourself up for financial success. Remember, it's never too late to make positive changes, and every small step counts. So start by educating yourself about personal finance and developing a plan to reach your financial goals. With a little effort and discipline, you can achieve financial freedom.